everybody, it's Safi and Marco. Dish out on the movies, and guess what we're reviewing today? The latest Scream movie, which came out Friday. I guess that was yesterday.
What's it called, Safi?
I have no idea.
It's called Scream.
Oh, wow,
Wow.
how original. Did you people know, and this, I don't think it's a spoiler to say, it came out, the very first one, in 1996.
December 20th.
Isn't that interesting? And so it is officially 25 years old. So what do we get with this Scream movie?
Well,
We get four of the original characters.
4.
Well, the fourth one's a mystery because if I say it,
Oh, yeah.
although that's the premise of the entire movie,
That doesn't...
that's a spoiler. If Marco lets me, I'll say it, but I won't say it now. But 4 of the original characters are in the movie.
The deputy from part 4?
Yes,
The
well,
blonde woman?
that was a big shock too. And can I say this?
Well, you
What
can...
her title was or not?
Well, it's not much of a spoiler. She has become sheriff now.
Has any of you seen
Which-
Scream 4?
Which, that's not surprising since it's 2022.
She
You know
was
what
a
I mean,
goofy,
Safi?
kind of deer in the headlights deputy. And she becomes the sheriff.
I only watched that one once, so I can't even remember her.
Well, I just watched, Marco said I should
Yeah.
to prepare for this movie. I had only seen Scream 1 and 2, but apparently there was a 3 and a 4. And I had never seen them before. And so I prepared for this movie by watching 3 and 4 as well.
Well, let's just go ahead and give a quick rundown of what we think of the first 4. I think that the first one is really good. At the same time, it sent the studios totally the wrong message because the movie was a tribute to the horror movies that came before it. It was a tribute to Nightmare on Elm Street and a tribute to Halloween. But the studios took the first Scream movie to say that it was actually like making fun of them and insulting them and telling the studios to change horror. And so what happened, Safi? They changed horror, and horror sucks now. They ruined horror, all because of the first Scream. They took the wrong messages from it. Do you agree with that, Safi?
Well, it isn't really good right now, so I don't know if I would attribute that to them or not, but
It's not entirely their fault, but the movie made lots of jokes against the older ones. They pointed out a lot of the cliches, and so studios took that as like, oh, this is bad, we need to change that, instead of, well, it was just a tribute, and it was also a creative way to make a movie by pointing out things that happened in the other ones. It's a smart way to make a film, and of course this new one doesn't do it in a smart way. And the second one, I think the second one's the best of the series, even though there's something that happens in it which really is probably one of the worst decisions in film history, with killing off Randy.
and everybody was really mad
Oh,
when that happened.
I
remember.
I would have done a rant video if I was a reviewer at that time. But, they what else they did was that they made Sydney friend zone him, which was a complete letdown after the first one. And it made her unlikable. But the movie was still really good. Do you agree, Safi? I mean, what do you think? What you have to say?
It was different. It was on a college campus, and instead of being in somebody's house and there's a party going on, this was actually at a college campus, and a lot of bad things happen on a stage when they're doing a play. So it was interesting how they could use parts of the stage set up.
A different setting too.
Yes, so that's it's always interesting to see. It was just like when the Chucky movie was set at a military academy.
Child's Play 3.
And it's nice to see how they deal with that in terms of the horror character and the story around it. And it seems like, from what I can tell, it's actually a positive thing because it kind of changes things up and they have to think more about what they're doing.
And
Which, boy, that really adds a lot because I'll tell you, in some of these others, there's not much thinking involved,
You
and
mean
that's
this
part
new
of
one?
the problem.
you mean this new one, Safi? And then the third one, I think that the third one is fun. It's pretty bad though. It was my favorite one as a kid. I would always choose to watch the third because it was about making a Scream movie, kinda. And so I always loved that one the most as a kid. Safi, what'd you think? Did you like it?
They're okay. I just, I forced myself to watch them. I'm reading 3 books. I'm watching The X-Files season 4. I'm also doing my eBay store.
Okay, and then
really,
with Scream 4, that's not really
it wasn't anything to write home about. I'll tell you that.
And then with Scream 4, when I first saw that movie, I fucking hated it.
Yeah,
I
didn't
thought
care
it was
for it.
really bad. It was like, why do we just have to make another Scream movie? Like, what's the point? You killed off you killed off Randy, the best character of the series. So like, what's the point anymore? Like,
Yeah, I'm telling you, people were really angry. If anybody, if that you weren't around or you didn't pay attention, then I mean, people were pissed that he was killed off.
they should have been.
And they admitted, apparently, Marco has read that they made a big mistake.
Yeah, Wes Craven admitted that it was the biggest mistake that I think he ever made, which I would agree. I mean, it's probably it's the worst movie death in history, and it's probably one of the top 10 worst decisions in film history to kill off the best character of the series. And for what? So that we could have Scream 3, 4, and this piece of shit Scream. Wow, what a good trade-off.
Well, which movie was it? Was the last? Was it the 4th one where they put him in there on a video?
No, that was the third one.
Okay, well that makes a lot of sense because since he had been killed in the one right before it, and so they made, if you haven't seen 3 and 4, they put him in a video like he had made it for people to see. Well, if you're just watching this now, I'm not here, and don't forget. And so he gives his usual pointers about serial killers and how many there are and who could be one, etc., which I thought was interesting and funny in a way. I don't think there's a lot of funny around the movies now. There might have been more humor back way at the first one.
They're funny indirectly because it's funny to laugh at them, like.
But I think as the years have gone on, they've gotten less funny and less funny and less funny, and I just didn't think it was funny in any way.
Well,
Except
again,
for one thing that happens at the end, but I can't say what that is either.
So I want to finish this up, Safi. It's almost 10 minutes now. The 4th one, I really did not like it. And it was not only why was it made, but it also just seemed like a vehicle to have all the trendy actors of the time. Like let's have Hayden Panettiere in a Scream movie. Let's have Julia Roberts. Wait, what was her name?
Emma Roberts.
Whatever her overrated ass name is. Let's have Emma Roberts in a Scream movie. Like F off. Like, make a good story. I don't care about these fucking name actors. Like, who cares? I didn't know when I was a kid. I didn't know who Neve Campbell and David Arquette. I didn't know who any of those people were when I watched the first Scream. So why would I care about Scream 4 about, I want to see that person, like, that movie was bad. But I didn't know they could make a movie worse than Scream 4. And they did. Safi. They made Scream. They didn't even bother calling it Scream 5, which is funny because it's a spoiler, but it's not really a spoiler. Excuse me. In the movie, they make fun of the fact that it's called Scream because they have these YouTubers talking about Stab 8 was just called Stab, and why was Stab 8 just called Stab? And it's like, okay, just because you're making fun of it doesn't mean it's okay for you to do it. It's the same thing like with Coming to America, where in that movie they had that kid talking about how all Hollywood does is make sequels and remakes that nobody asked for. And just because you say it doesn't mean it's okay for you to do it. Like, just because you say that you're going to go and kill someone doesn't mean it's okay if you're going to go and kill someone. Right, Safi? Like, that's kind of stupid. And this movie, speaking of stupid, Safi, what the fuck was this? What in the hell were they thinking, Safi? What were they doing with this movie? I mean, what was this? What was this, Safi?
I know, it was really weird because Nev Campbell and I just heard her name, the newspaper reporter girl, and David Arquette. It was kind of like, it was really weird. So here they are. They were in the first movie 25 years ago. And it was almost like they were sitting on a wall watching all these younger actors perform and kind of like,
It's very depressing to watch, Safi.
and they're like, I guess we're going to have to finish the movie and make it a, quote, good one.
We're just gonna have a couple of scenes here and there, and like to make sure that this movie isn't a complete dumpster fire, and like, cause this movie, for starters, Safi, what did you think about the new cast of characters? Like,
I thought they were very shallow and they were very paper thin.
Exactly.
I mean, they were okay.
No, they were terrible.
But they're not memorable.
They
That's
weren't
the
characters.
Thing. They gave them. They just didn't give them anything. Yeah, they're very one-dimensional. I mean, I've heard this before. Like in writing, they'll say, "Oh, you've written comic book characters. They don't have any substance."
Yeah, but
and
that's complete bullshit because comic book characters have a lot more dimension than these fucking characters, Safi.
Well, they did not have much of a. I mean, I don't like really when you see this movie and you watch it, you're gonna like, oh, I can't wait to see so and so again.
I can't wait to see.
And who would that be? I don't care about any of those people. They weren't outstanding, and if they don't give you a character. I don't know how to explain it, but you don't really care about them.
Yeah.
Like there's nothing to be sympathetic to or even dislike, like, oh, they're awful. They were like nothing.
I didn't care about any of them. Any of them. And Safi, didn't they remind you of the characters from American Horror Story Death Valley? The college kids? I told you, like, these are the exact, literally all the characters in movies nowadays, this age, they're all the same characters. They're snappy, they're hip and trendy, and they have all these jokes that they make, and they're boring Instagram influencer characters, and I hate them. I mean, I hate these characters. They're so unlikable and so one-dimensional that, like, with the original Scream movie, they spent the whole movie making you like the characters, like every single one of them.
They really developed them into people you
can you name
don't care about.
Can you name a single character from the first Scream movie that you don't like? No.
No, not really.
Not at all.
No, because you had the Scooby-Doo guy.
Scooby-Doo.
Yeah, what's his
Oh,
name?
yeah, Matthew Lillard.
Which everybody loves him, and he was funny. I remember him. And then you had that girl Rose. I guess that's her name, Rose or
Yeah.
something. Then you had
Nipple girl.
Loomis, the Loomis guy who, uh, he's been in a lot of things. He's good.
Yeah, he was in The Craft, that piece of shit movie. Oh,
And then
oops.
Nev
Not
Campbell.
supposed to be talking about The Craft.
Nev Campbell, and you had David Arquette, and then you had
Even the fat guy, even the fat cameraman, he wasn't unlikable. The principal, he wasn't unlikable. Every single Drew Barrymore, she was kind of dumb, but she wasn't unlikable. Every single person in that movie was likable. Whereas with this movie, they not only make these characters unlikable, but they also have they also do bad things to older characters. Like they basically disgrace
they
certain
were
older
disrespecting
characters.
them.
Yeah,
They were
disrespecting them, and then they had all these monologues about how, excusing plagiarism, excusing bad filmmaking by like saying, we can't make any original ideas anymore, like the Child's Play remake. We have to make movies like Halloween. Like, ugh! Like both of those movies suck.
And why is that? Because the people who made that last Halloween movie, which was crap, a crap fest, a really bad crap fest, they made this movie.
Well, no, the studio, Safi.
Oh, okay.
The people who made this movie were the people who made Ready or Not. Remember that movie, Safi?
Actually, I like that movie.
I fucking hated that movie.
Wait a minute. Is that...
It was the one where the girl gets married and then she's forced to fight off the family.
Oh.
Yeah.
No.
See?
It was a interesting story, but they...
It was a good concept, but it was...
Did not do a good job. It's
shitty
too bad,
movie.
because it was a good concept.
Yeah.
Very good.
Same people who made that made this.
Well, that's a shame.
But the thing is that, they mentioned Child's Play. Is Safi, do you honestly... I mean, can the writers who wrote this piece of shit Scream movie, can they honestly sit there and try to convince me that the Child's Play remake did something new and interesting with the series? Are you shitting me? What did they do? They made the mom a slut. They made her a slut Aubrey Plaza. Ugh. They turned Chucky into a robot. There's no voodoo because, I guess... I won't talk about that. That'll get into political agendas. But, basically you can't have voodoo in movies anymore because if you do, then they'll say that it's like a racist thing or something. But, that remake did not do anything differently. In fact, a lot of it was just kind of ripping off like Texas Chainsaw 2. Like they literally showed that as influencing Chucky, and then like most of the rest of the movie was just ripping off the first one. They would even rip off elements in different places. Like in the opening scene of the Chucky remake, they pushed the boss in that Asian... I can't remember which Asian country where the factory was. He pushes him out the window, which is basically plagiarizing the maid.
It's probably Hong Kong.
Not the maid, the babysitter when she gets pushed out the window in the original Child's Play. That's just more plagiarism. And, that wasn't doing something original at all. And in fact, some people actually liked that fucking movie, and they said that it was really good, Safi.
No way.
No.
I couldn't get beyond Aubrey Plaza. I just couldn't stand her.
Yeah, like what a terrible mother. Another unlikable character. Like, wow, it's really that simple. If you don't have likable characters, then you don't have a likable movie.
No.
So this movie went into a monologue about how you can't make original movies anymore. You have to make requels. And I
And
thought
they said that in the movie.
that is the stupidest shit that I have ever heard.
It went in one ear and out the other for me. I
it is
just
like
couldn't listen to it.
it was like listening to a mad scientist talk about their weird experiments. Like, oh, I'm killing people and I'm using their body parts to make a human dinosaur because dinosaurs should exist. Like, wow, that makes a lot of sense. Not. That's what this movie does. It literally like tries to make excuses for why it's trash.
Yeah, they on screen they went into a whole big spiel about requels, and it went in one ear and out the other because I thought that was dumb. I just didn't even want to hear it.
And the rest of the movie, literally all they're doing is saying, like, I suspect you. Oh, maybe I'm the one who did it. Oh, maybe you're the
Yeah,
bad guy.
they did that
Oh,
too.
maybe you're the bad guy. Oh, maybe he's the bad guy. Oh, maybe she. Like, ugh. That's so not entertaining. That's not good storytelling. I'm sorry. Like, they did that in the original Clue, but it was a lot more intelligent in that one because they would actually it was just a lot so much better written. I mean, remember that, Safi, when they did that in the original Clue, when they would accuse each other?
Yeah.
But it was so much better writing. This was not good writing. It all has to do with the script. And that's a repeating theme on this channel. We talk about if you don't have a good script, you're not going to have a good movie. And this is yet another example where we have a terrible script. Now let's talk about the movie in general. I thought that it was completely unoriginal, it was unimaginative, it was unnecessary, and the characters were bad. I didn't like how they disgraced certain characters in the movie. I didn't like what they did with certain characters. I thought the killers were trash. Like he's them, whoever, see, you can't really talk about the killer or killers without being spoilery. But let's just say they're the worst killer in history of the series. Like, this is definitely has the worst villain, has the worst protagonist, has the worst love interests. It has the worst. It's terrible. Like, I would almost say, like, Safi, do you think this is worse than Halloween 2018? I mean, how
No.
would you? Yeah.
No, there's nothing worse than that. That thing was a piece of garbage.
Well, they both have agendas, that's for sure.
Oh.
We'll talk about that in the spoilers. We have anything else to say, Safi, or do you have
Well,
anything
actually,
else?
I can't say, but
No, it'll be spoiler.
okay.
So, what's your food rating, Safi, for Scream? Clever title, Scream.
Well, 25 years ago, McDonald's had their cheeseburger. Today, they have the cheeseburger. The cheeseburger hasn't improved. It's the same. And I don't really like it that much anymore. And I just had it the other day. And I was desperate because I thought, oh, I'll just try it again.
You had diarrhea.
No, I don't know about that. It didn't taste good. I only ate half of it. That's the thing. I get this food out thinking, well, and I have trouble because the medicine I take screws up my taste, okay? But,
Your taste in
just-
movies as well?
no. But anyway, it's disappointing. And, because you pay money to eat it, and it's no good. And I just think all these people I know, they must have probably, opening day, when they had Scream come out, they probably made a fortune. People wanted to see, for nostalgia, wanted to see what they came up with. And I don't know what they thought. I know what one person thought. And I won't say who that is. He seemed to like it.
Well,
But I
he
think if
likes everything.
I think if he really thought about it, though, he
He
wouldn't.
likes everything, Safi.
He wouldn't watch it again. That's the thing. That's kind of an indicator for people. If they see a movie and it's not that great, and it made kind of a good impression, maybe, but then they think, well, I'm probably never going to see this movie again, and they don't. Then it wasn't really that good of a movie. It's kind of like for me, I thought that the last Toy Story, I really thought, for some reason, I really liked it. But then I'm thinking, I don't care about that ever. And if I had kids, young kids, I used to, but they're all grown up.
The feminazi Toy Story.
I would, I'd probably have to watch it again if they wanted to watch it. But I really would, I don't like it. It wasn't that great.
I would rather jump off a cliff like Forky was trying to than let a child be indoctrinated by Toy Story 4.
Well, whatever. I didn't like it as much as I thought, and I wouldn't watch it again. So I think that's a good indicator to anybody, not just me, that if it's really good, you'd want to watch it again. Like people watch certain Christmas movies every year.
Would you like to watch this again, Safi?
No, not at all. I don't give a crap about it.
What about the fourth one?
None of them. I don't want to watch it again. I think I'd watch I think I'd watch the very first one because it was brand new. I liked all the characters, and I thought it all went well together. I thought it was good cast. They actually did really good casting in that very first one.
I don't really want to watch any of them again because that's the thing about these bad movies is that if I watch a bad movie, it will ruin the rest of the series for me. And for this movie ruined the rest of the series.
Okay, what's your food rating then?
Just as much as the second one. And then, as you get older, you really, when you think about what they did to Randy, it's infuriating.
Well, that's the thing. It really, I was personally very upset about it. Yeah. Because I just thought it was so funny.
He was the best character.
He's sitting on the couch.
Smartest character.
In the first movie, and you remember that, and everybody else was gone, running around. They'd left, or they were in danger, and the
Safi,
guys coming.
Just imagine, in an alternate universe, there could have been Scream 3 with Randy and Sydney as a couple. Scream 4 with Randy and Sydney as a couple. Scream 5, Randy and Sydney as a couple. And instead, he has to die in the second one like a bitch. Okay, now I had to think a little bit. I was thinking about fish for some reason, like bland fish. And you know Arby's, Safi. Well, Arby's, last year I had their fish sandwich. It was not good. And I was like, I don't think I want to get this again. Well, this year they brought it back. And I don't know if they bring it back every year at a certain point or what. But I thought maybe they'll improve it and maybe it'll be better. Or it'll just be a good fish sandwich. Like, how hard is it to make a fucking fish sandwich? You just take a fillet of fish, put some salt on it, and put some tartar sauce, and put it in a bun. But somehow Arby's screw that up, too. They screw that up. Because the fish sandwich, the fish itself, bland. No seasoning whatsoever. Not even in the breading that they fry the fish in. None. And then the tartar sauce. I'm not kidding you guys when I say the tartar sauce was sweet. It tasted like sugar. It tasted like sugar sauce. So it was like this weird, sugary, like the sugar tartar sauce for the nostalgia bait by having these characters who are better than all the main cast. And then the main cast, they're the fish in the middle. That bland fish, and then the bun is, or I don't know, the bun is the stupid script that sucks, that tries to hold everything together, but everything just falls out, and you got food all over your stomach. You have to clean it up with a napkin that they give you in the bag. But sometimes Arby's doesn't even give me any napkins. And so that's what this movie didn't give me any napkins. That's for damn sure. And it's funny because Safi, we really ranted about Fear Street trilogy last year. Mm-hmm. That agenda-driven shit-fest trilogy. I would say that the opening scene of that first Fear Street movie was better than the entire Scream 5 movie.
Yeah.
So it's really too bad that woman who made that shit series, it's too bad that she didn't do this and that she just didn't have someone else write the script for her, because that opening scene was how you do a Scream movie. Anyways, now for spoilers. Safi, what bothered you about the movie in terms of spoilers?
Well, really?
Yeah. Yeah.
I couldn't. This haunted me the entire movie. And what happened was the main characters, which I can't even, there's a whole group of them actually. Like I said, there's nothing outstanding about them. They're nothing. They're paper. That's what they are. They're paper thin. And I also...
But
well,
they're not anorexic though. Let's just say that.
No, the thing
at least
is,
they're not anorexic.
They mention this in the movie, like what Randy used to do. What makes a horror movie? Has to have this, 2 killers, and he would say all this stuff. And somebody said, well, they have the main people have to be related to somebody in the original Scream or something. I can't remember exactly how they say. Well, there are 2 daughters. So guess who their father was? It was Randy. Was his name Loomis?
It was Randy Loomis.
It was the killer.
It was Billy, Safi.
Billy. I'm sorry. It was just so unbelievable. Billy Loomis was their father. Now, do you remember in the first movie when Billy Loomis was married or had a girlfriend and they had sex and they had children? They had 2 daughters. Do you remember that? I don't. And remember, the movie came out in 1996. Okay, now Marco was born in 1998.
Oh,
so
Safi.
that would be 25 years ago. Do you remember that? I don't recall Randy Loomis being Randy Loomis. I don't recall him being married to anybody. And so the 2 main girls, they're his daughters.
I have a good excuse. He was sick of waiting for Neve Campbell's character to have sex with him, and so he got with an easy girl, some woman, and then that's what happened. Because that was the plot of the first movie, was that he was getting sick and tired of waiting to hook up with Sydney.
Yeah.
And then at the end of the movie, they hook up. So maybe he got tired of waiting, and he slept with someone else.
But you're talking about 2 children.
Well, maybe she was a pedophile.
I don't know, but anyway, I kept thinking, it just kept popping up in my mind like a bad piece of cereal. I mean, I couldn't get past it. And then I find out the sheriff. I look at this girl, I thought, she looks a lot like the deputy in Scream 4, who looked like she was in a deer in the headlights.
Really?
When everything ever happened. And it turns out she was the sheriff. I'm like, what the hell? And so I guess there's this long explanation, which that went in one ear and out the other, about why Dewey was not the sheriff anymore.
Safi, would you like me to talk about the agendas?
No, but
Why?
there are some. No.
I will. So this movie I would retitle it Scream The Force Awakens, because this movie, if I could compare it to any movie, I would compare it to that piece of shit Star Wars The Force Awakens. The movie that was so bad that I haven't watched a single Star Wars movie since. It had all these feminazi agendas in it. The main character was a Mary Sue. Terrible characters all the way around. Terrible villain. It was a lot like this movie. And they had lots of agendas in that movie, like they took Han Solo and they made him a deadbeat dad, and they disgraced him and they disrespected him. They said he has all these debts to all these different people and he can't pay them, and he's a loser and a drunkard, and he doesn't even have the Millennium Falcon anymore. And then they kill him off in this horrible, horrible, disgraceful movie. They did the exact same thing with Deputy Dewey, who became Sheriff Dewey. Well, in this one, he's not the sheriff anymore, the Whammon is. And he is nothing. He is just a loser in a trailer. And, yeah, pathetic. And not only that, apparently he left Gail in the middle of the night and he divorced her or something. Excuse me. So they basically completely disrespected him, disgraced him, made him a loser character. They peed all over him, and and then they killed him. And they killed him in the stupidest possible way. Like, at least in the second one, when you thought he was going to get killed, at least he got trapped on accident. In this one, he traps himself in with the killers on purpose. And it is the stupidest. It's one of those shitty movie cliches where a character sacrifices themselves for no reason. They do that in this one. And it was such a disgrace. And of course, all the male characters die, all the females survive. They're basically doing another Halloween 2018 where you have the three main female leads as the stars of the series. I mean, aren't we kind of getting sick of this shit, everybody? Like, aren't we kind of done with that? Like, can't we have a little variety? Like, you already killed off the best character in the series, Randy. And then you killed off the third best character in the series, Dewey. So now all we're left are these bland female characters. Like, Sydney isn't even a good character anymore. She's basically like a birthday party cosplayer, Sydney. And then Gail is basically another birthday party person. Like, you know how in Ghostbusters Afterlife they came in at the end and it's like they're doing a birthday party appearance. That's what it felt like with these characters. They were not good in this movie, but they were still better than those
new ones.
Those new ones. Oh God.
Ooh. I guess the part I like two parts about it.
Oh, I bet you did, Safi.
Billy Loomis. Remember how I said there were 4 original characters from the first Scream in the movie? Well, guess what? If you remember the first one, he was killed. Remember he and Matthew Lillard, they started stabbing each other, and Matthew said, "What are you doing? This hurts."
But then she shoots him too, right?
Right. They got more than the stabbing each other. But anyway, he comes back as a ghost and guides his daughters to try to help them.
Which I thought that was my favorite part of the movie.
I thought that was interesting.
I thought that could have been a lot more emphasized, because honestly,
why not? It's a horror movie.
It reminded me of Dark Shadows, when the characters would see their ancestors doing things in dreams and flashbacks. I thought that was actually really cool, even though it was clearly only done for nostalgia bait, to show his face.
The other thing I liked, which I didn't discover until the end, and I'm not going to say anything. No, I don't want to. Yeah, but I don't even want to say that, but...
one of the killers is This woman from Once Upon a Time in Hollywood.
And she is a real, now that is one girl
Yeah.
who did a good job because
Really?
she is an evil.
Really?
She can really play an evil bitch.
Really?
And,
Really?
but I mean, you wouldn't know that during the
I
movie.
beg to differ,
But at the
Safi.
end, you see it, I'm like, that girl really looks very familiar. And I go, Marco, isn't she the one who was in Once Upon a Time in Hollywood?
You're gonna say Planet Wood?
Yeah, Planet Hollywood. In Hollywood. And wasn't that the same girl? And it was. And guess what? She caught fire in the Hollywood movie. She caught fire in this movie too. Which I thought, oh my God, did they do that deliberately?
I hope that doesn't happen to her in real life.
They turned the stove, somebody turned, it was probably Sydney, turned the stove on, and when she was a really good fighter too. She shoved her into the stove and she caught completely on fire.
And then she got up
And
in 2
ran
seconds.
through the house just like she did in the Hollywood movie.
Yeah, so basically, Safi.
I just thought that was. I'm like, oh my God.
That's so. It's just. That's really. See, that just
That's
shows.
stupid. It's goofy and terrible. That's what a way to remember a movie.
Yeah. Well, it just shows how bad this movie is because one of the two things in this movie that Safi likes is just the fact that it reminds her of Once Upon a Time in Hollywood. That's pretty bad. And there's so many bad things about this movie, like they have this red herring character. He's this creepy guy with a mustache, and he's introduced as this red herring. Ooh, is he gonna be the bad guy? And then what happens, Safi? He gets killed like 1 minute later by one of them in the car. And they dress up like Ghostface in like 2 seconds and then go outside to kill him in a car. And so there goes your red herring. And it's like, see, that's not how good red herrings are done. Like, you don't introduce a red herring and then kill them off. Like, doesn't that defeat the purpose of a red herring, Safi?
Yeah, you need to use that red herring for as long as possible because people can really go down the rabbit hole.
Yeah.
Going after those red herrings, and if you want to really, really fool them, then you try to keep those around for as long as possible.
Yeah.
So, yeah. So anyway. Basically, that's all I.
And then Sydney kept on shooting everyone. Like, Sydney, in order for her character to be like a savior, she just walks around the house, like, shooting everywhere.
Yeah, she was shooting in closets, thinking, well, there might be somebody who's not a bad guy in the closet hiding. And I'm like, why is she doing that? But
Lots of stupid things in this movie.
so anyway. I don't think it's a very good movie. I gave my review. It's just a stale old McDonald's cheeseburger, which has not changed since the very beginning. And Marco gave it a crappy fish sandwich which had no flavor.
From Arby's.
Oversweetened. Can you
Tartar
tell
sauce.
we go out to eat fast food a lot. There's hardly anything good, but anyway.
It's just I was open to this being good too. Like it's not like I was saying since this is from the studio that made Halloween, that means this automatically is going to be terrible. But I had a feeling it would be just because of Halloween and Halloween Kills, terrible plagiarist trash. This movie is pretty much just as bad. It's really bad, it's really bland, and it really has no reason to exist. I mean, they could have done so much better than this. And what it really all comes down to is the script. Because the movie was made well, it had, the music wasn't very good.
No.
But it had good effects, it had some good blood and gore. I like that aspect of it. But it really... movies nowadays, they need to reevaluate the scripts because the scripts nowadays are really, really bad.
And there are a lot of writers around who would jump at the chance to do something like that, and they're not given the chance, and they could do it so much better.
Yeah, like
Me.
I heard from fans, they gave all these theories saying that maybe Matthew Lillard is still alive and he's the killer. And like, why is it that the fans are coming up with better movie ideas than the people who actually write the movies?
Yeah, because they care more about it.
Yeah.
They're not looking at dollar signs all the time. They're looking at the value of the story.
And they don't have any agendas either.
No, they're just thinking about, wow, this would be so good if they could do this with the story and make it a really good, fun, interesting, scary story, which is what it's all about. So anyway, I think that's good enough. So everybody, if you like this video review, give it press the like button, and if you would like to be one of our subscribers, we welcome new ones all the time with open arms. If you saw the movie, tell us what you think. What did you think about it? Did you love it? And if you did, why? I want to know. And then
You don't want to know something.
if you didn't, but you did like one of the other Scream movies, which one was it? And what do you think that they could do to improve? And what are they going to do now that they're down to Nev? They're down to Nev and that Gail Weathers girl as the permanent players of the original movie.
That's it.
That's it. Well, what are they going to do now? Because what they have left are not very notable at all. They have no chemistry. They have no nothing. They're paper thin pieces of character.
I would petition for them to just do an entire movie starring Billy's ghost.
Yeah, I guess you could have all of the characters that have been killed. You could have Dewey, Randy, Billy.
You could have them come back to haunt the writers like a Christmas Carol.
Yeah, they could come back and haunt. Yeah, that'd be a great movie. So
whatever.
That we're just funning. But
anyways,
everybody, goodbye.
Goodbye.